This week's proud sponsors of the episode are Murphy & Young Limited. They design, manufacture, supply and erect bespoke timber kit houses and summer houses. You can visit them at murphyandyoungltd.co.uk or contact them at info@murphyandyoungltd.co.uk. If you're looking for any information, if you get any projects they can help you with, then just give them a shout. The lads are top notch. Hope you enjoy the episode. Cheers. Alright everybody, welcome back. Round up 8. My apologies, we missed it last week due to work and other commitments, but we're back.
Mate, I feel as if we've heavy let the side down missing a week, to be honest with you, through different circumstances. But listen, we're back. We need to get a good year under our belt again, mate.
I tell you what, mate, there's been some good games, man. Even like last week, there was some crackers that we sadly never got to talk about. We probably have spent a bit of time on, but the Premier League's starting to heat up a wee touch and all, which is quite nice. So I'll go straight into the results. Talbot 1, Hurlford 0, Beath 0, Clydebank 0, Benburb 0, Kilwinning 0, Blantyre 0, Largs 5, Bonneton 1, Cumnock 1, Glenafton 3, Cumbernauld 0, Kilburney 0, Meda 3, Robroy 1, Pollock 4, Glencairn 3, Rossfield 2, Troon 0, Darvel 2. I think we'll start, mate, with just a wee quick talk about the Talbot Pollock game last week. Talbot 3 each between the two of them. Pollock get 3 men sent off, 3 penalties that were very questionable. It looked like a good game, man.
Mate, it looked like a class game. Because you were maybe going to end up going to that, no? If it wasn't for different situations working out. But we've seen a lot of chat about it, man. That game had a bit of everything. A mistake for Leishman for the first, that doesn't often happen.
Yeah, exactly.
But see the save he's pulled off for Ryan McGregor's penalty, the one he's touched onto the post. It's some save, but McGregor's put a rebound in.
No, I know, mate.
But here, three players, do you know what I mean? And Pollock have ended up getting a draw at it, and Talbot has scored at the end. I think Big Jordan Longmuir's pulled off a save at the end and all to make sure they at least get a point. But if you were to say to Murdy and all the Pollock fans and their boys that they would draw 3 each, and they would have 3 players sent off, they would have took that before the ball was kicked. But obviously with the situation and how it kind of panned out, they're probably going off. They could have only we just held on for a couple of more minutes.
Last time we've spoke about like Pollock kind of being under the radar, and we've spoken about them a bit more recently. But it shows how well they're doing. 3 men down against the Talbot. I think the first red card was like within half an hour. You're spending you would say going a full hour with 10 men against the Talbot's horrible. Then you get another man sent off within still about half an hour to go. You're 9 men. Unbelievable.
Character, it obviously shows you that Murdy and the boys they're singing off the same hymn sheet. They're all working hard for each other. And to get a point out of that in the end is tremendous for them. And I know that I don't know if you'll touch on the result on Saturday, but that shows you, because they're probably the suspensions kicked in as well, and I seen they get a few under 20s boys, and then they've just went and got another great result, winning 4-1.
Aye, on that, I watched the highlights this morning. I was quite disappointed. But the clubs need to get highlights up faster. Normally they're pure snappy with them, but no many are up, so I didn't get to watch much.
We can't see it, man. We've
I know, mate. I expect people to be better than us, though. But on the Pollock game at the weekend, there 4-1. The part looked quite heavy, obviously, with how bad the weather's been. So it was good it was able to go on. I think I don't know if it was a young boy or no, but I think the Rob Roy keeper was quite disappointed. The first goal, for the angle of the cameras, it's hard to tell. Big Cam's won a flick on. Stu McCann had the shot, near post went by the keeper. I don't know if he could have done better, but near post, you're always a bit of a goalkeeper.
Second that noise. Can you hear that?
Aye.
Can you hear that noise now?
What noise is that?
No, it was like as if something was interfering with the line there.
Nah, maybe because I got my phone up against the screen.
Aye.
Second one, Big Jordan Longmuir scores for a punt.
Mate, it's always brilliant as being a goalie, mate, to see. It's a hard one because it's always mad seeing a goalie scoring, but see, with me being a goalie, you don't really like to see it.
Aye, because
it's not good for the other goalie.
I know.
Do you know what I mean? Do you get it? So it's
I know.
I think you can even tell with Jordan that there's a respect for other goalies that he doesn't go and celebrate it. And I think I've seen goalies. It's different if you got for a corner in the last minute, you score a header or something. You're running a bit buck wild, but see for to score kind of like that, you actually most goalies would feel sorry for the boy that's been on the receiving end of it, you know what I mean?
Because he's kind of misjudged it. And then the third one, Big Callum's done well out wide. Put a nothing ball into the box. Keepers came off him. And it was a tap in. He'll be disappointed with that. And then the fourth, he gets a hand on and off.
Sometimes just you get a day like conditions weren't great. But for me, I was chuffed to see my big mate Callum getting a start, mate, because I know he's been chomping at the bit to get a bit of game time, and he was involved in the goals and that, so he's probably had a decent game, so fair play to him.
Well done, big man. Talbot beat Hurlford 1-0. We're keeping the good run going. Beath drawing nothing each with Clydebank. I'd say good result for Beath. Clydebank will be disappointed to drop more points. They're kind of
Clydebank played about 60, 65 minutes to be 10 men. So I think when you're up against it with 10 men, you then keep a clean sheet and still get a point, you're not losing the game. I think both teams will just take that and move on.
I think Clydebank they'll be disappointed in their current run. They've only won 2 of the last 6 in the league. And same with Co-winning, another draw for them. They've won 2 out of the last 6 as well. It's one of the ones. Ben's have done really well. It's a cracking result for them. Who I know they're still kind of lower down, but I'd say the Bens have been a wee bit of a surprise package this season. I think they've done better than a lot of people thought they would have done.
They've done well. It's a great result for them. I think with some of the players coming in, they've got to keep a clean sheet and no concede against them. I do say, is that something mad with? No, sorry, mate. You keep a clean sheet's brilliant. You know what I mean? I'm pals with Ben's goalie, with Danny McLean. So he's obviously had to have a good game. But great point for the Bens, and one that probably Co-winning will be disappointed with. But there's quite a few draws in the league that week, isn't there?
A lot of kind of teams no scoring as well. But a big one I mentioned, a team that don't really get mentioned at all is Largs. Big win for them against Blantyre, beating them 5-0. Sorry for our mate Gibby getting beat 5-0, and that's 5 in the bounce have lost. But that's for Arnie and the boys. They've only lost 1 at the last 6. They're drawn 3, 1-2, lost 1. But that's a kind of good wee bit of form they're hitting just now as well.
No, it's a great result for them, especially teams down there. Largs want to try and take points off them. They're big games for them. So it's brilliant. They'll get a good bit of confidence for that. Scoring 5 goals, keeping a clean sheet. Sounds like a very emphatic day for Largs. The other one for me, mate, was Bonington. Stoke.
Great first point. First point ages.
I think they've scored late. Mm-hmm. It's hard because I've been away with my brother's stag do all weekend, so that way I'm trying to keep up to date with what's happened. But for them to get a point against Cumnock's, it's a good point for them, and it Stoke's just that wee consistency of losing games. You know what I mean? So it gives them something to build on.
I think they've lost 14 in the bounce, so that is a massive point against a good Cumnock side as well. It's not like it's been a team kind of down there with them. It's a team a few places above, so it's a good result. Finally, before we move on, Darvel beating Troon 2-0. Results have went Darvel's way this weekend with Clydebank and Co-winning drawn, and that's them putting a wee bit of a run together now. They're starting to kind of put themselves back in the mix. They win their games in hand. They're right back in it. Still, I think probably too far to catch Pollock and Talbot, but they're right back in it.
I think I have said quite a few times that, and I think a lot you were in agreement as well that with the calibre of players that they've got, it was always a matter of time before they would put a wee. They've got the players there capable of putting a run together and putting a stretch of games and points like 5, 6, 7 games in a row. They've got the capability to do that. So I'm no surprised that it's probably one before you expect them to win. But Troon had been gone well, especially at home and that they've been gone well. So it's a good result for Mick and the boys. And as you say, they've kicked on there the last few weeks.
Well, Mick had been saying, I watched his post-match interview. He's wearing a hat. I don't know what he's wearing a hat for, but he's going to end up with these long flowing locks brushed back now in a couple.
Listen, mate. You wouldn't have a bald man myself, mate. I've looked into it myself, mate. Do you know what I mean?
I'm going thin at tapping. I can't say it.
Maybe if this podcast kicks off, I can get myself. I'm going to get myself a good set of good feed of hair.
Mick was saying that that's them starting to get players back for injuries. They've had quite a lot of injuries, and he actually thought it was one of their better performances they've had. So again, to only win 2-0, it shows that Troon have been decent as well.
Yeah.
But moving on to Conference A, Arthurlie 2, Les Mahigo 0, Bellshill 4, Muirkirk 4, Glasgow Uni 2, Lugar 0, Irvine Vicks 1, Craigmark 2, Maryhill 4, Girvan 2, Mabel 2, Saltcoats 1, Shotts 3, the Borough 2, Whitlets 2, 4th 0. Arthurlie and Shotts continue. They just
good results because I'd say Johnstone Borough in the last couple of weeks have maybe looked as if they're returning to a wee bit of form. So for Shotts, it's a good result. Arthurlie, man, Arthurlie are just
relentless.
You just can't see by them. You're no expect every week they play. You're just expecting they to keep winning games in it. So I think that it's going to be the games where they play each other. I think could be the telling moment. But but what else can you say about the two of them? The two of them are running away with it in that division.
I was talking to Ali Martin on Saturday. He had to miss a game through work, and he said that Shotts had quite a lot of bodies missing. So, like you said, the Borough are starting to look a bit better as well. So it's obviously a really good result for Shotts with limited numbers to still go and get the win.
John's got a good squad there. John's assembled a good squad, so that just shows you the strength and depth. And that's what, as a manager, innit? That's what you're chasing.
I watched the Irvine Vicks highlights this morning, and I watched the highlights against Lugar last week. It was a game I wanted to touch on. I'm not gonna lie, see Irvine Vicks highlights, the quality is dynamite. Arguably the best at level. I think they're excellent. So well done to them.
They're very good, mate.
They lost 2-1 to Craigmark yesterday. Craigmark, as we know, decent side who've been doing really well this season, sitting in 4th place. I thought Irvine Vicks looked quite good. They had a few chances, as did Craigmark, but I think that you're going to start to see a wee turn for the likes of Irvine Vicks because their league position have only got 4 points for 16 games. But I'm not going to lie, I thought watching that highlights, first time I've seen them, they did not look like a team who should only have 4 points. So they look decent there.
Because I watched the highlights against Pollock and that as well, and they weren't a million miles away. They had chances in that game as well. They're not a million miles away. I think it's just sometimes it's just the mentality when you're losing games of football that they just keep narrowly losing games. But I definitely say that Dougie and that there have turned it. The team's only finding it's comfortable to go and play them and get points against them. So he's definitely got them a resurgent, but they're still just no picking up the victories. You know what I mean?
Nah, I think they'll maybe start to get some points. Same with Lugar. Lugar beating them last week. That looked like an absolute cracking game. I watched the highlights, like I said. Pitch was, because of the weather, pitch was really poor. But
that's down to you, because that's what you always say. If teams are playing against their teams at their similar level, then it always makes for a better game. You played that rather than some of the games against the bigger teams in the league. So,
because I thought it looked excellent. It looked like a game that you'd have loved to have been at for a neutral. It was cracking. Also, keeping on the bottom of the table, Talcoats, mate, 2-1 against Mabel, who are doing really well now. Good result.
It's not, and you feel a wee bit daft saying a good result, but the last thing that we all kind of want to see is fans at this level, but you don't want to see teams getting a down every week. Do you know what I mean? And they've took some heavy ones, Saltcoats. So although they've still lost the game, there's probably loads of positives they've took out of that game because they've only lost it 2-1. Listen, I can't say I know much what's happened in the game down there. I don't know how it was for chances or if Mabel's missed chances or whatever, but it sounds a close game, and that's what you want. You want the teams to be competitive, man. You don't want teams to be scudding other teams. So
to be fair,
well done to Saltcoats. Give them a wee bit of belief that they can compete, especially as you say with one of the teams that are doing well and having a good season so far.
Results are at, even though they've lost, results are at stop teams for folding in a sense. Because see if they had lost 9 or 10-0, like they've lost a couple of really heavy ones, boys don't go back. But see if you're like the boys are like, oh, we only lost 2-1 to a good side. Can I give them a wee bit of hope? Just to finish up, Maryhill beating Girvan 4-2, good result there. Whitlets continuing as well in 3rd place, beating 4th 2-0, which is quite a big one for them. His 4th would have been in 3rd place if Whitlets had if they'd beaten Whitlets, so that was a good result. Moving on to Conference B, Ashfield 2, Gartcairn 4, Cambuslang 8, Carluke 0, Dorai 1, Renfrew 5, Royal Albert 0, Glasgow United 2, Port Glasgow 3, Greenock 0, St Cadoc's 2, Thornleywood 1, Newmains and Kello postponed. Right, so what was the chat for your game at the weekend? Obviously you weren't there, you were at Anton's stag, but what was the chat?
See, I think the Gaffer was saying we went 1-0 up in the first minute, and then I think that we've conceded. I think there's been defensively, or there's been a couple of mistakes, individual errors that's maybe allowed Gartcairn a way back into the game. It's hard because I wasn't there. The gaffer spoke to me and gave me a rundown of what's happened. I think the gaffer's disappointed with a couple of players' decisions, and I think he's been disappointed with officials' decisions. I think we've gave away 2 penalties, making the game again and all. So, we're disappointed. See, to be honest with you, mate, the last 2 weeks against we've had St Cadoc's and Gartcairn, and we've lost both of the games 4-2. But I tell you what, there's no really, for long spells of the game. I know that especially St Cadoc's game, I was there, but there's not been a lot in it, mate. We're not a million miles away. I even think sometimes we're just not maybe quite getting the rub of the green. But Gartcairn have got quality. They've won the game. I think they've scored the last one in the last minute when we're pushing for an equaliser as well, just to make it look a bit more comfortable for them. But by all accounts, we've had our chances. We've maybe not took them. We've gave away a couple of sloppy goals, which has kind of been the message of the season, mate. And it's disappointing because we've lost 2 games in a row in the league, and we've probably played against 2 of the sides that everybody beforehand would have said we're going for the league. And for large spells of the game, we've looked good, we've done well, and it's hard. You're disappointed, but as I keep saying, we're not a million miles away. We're going toe to toe with these teams, and it's just that there's just that wee. I don't know if it's that wee bit of belief with the boys, or it's just that wee something that we just can't quite get the victory against them.
Aye, mate. I think you're scoring against all these teams all the time. Obviously, the story of the season's been you've been losing too many goals.
Aye.
A couple of penalties away is obviously a Sorian as well, and then maybe them scoring later on. But we have to give a shout out to Ross McNeil, who's got 9 in the last 5 for Gartcairn, absolutely flying. But Gartcairn, they're the informed team in the league. I mean, they've literally. I genuinely thought 4 or 5 weeks ago Gartcairn had no chance of winning the league. Now you look at it, if they can go and beat St Cadoc's and Cambuslang when they play them, they have every chance of winning the league. They're only 3 points off a tap. Cambuslang have got a game in hand. It's 3. That's very minimal now. It's proper pressure.
It's tight between. It's tight between the 3 and the thing is, I know you can't discount RBR. They're still up there points total wise. They're still up there. So
they're the same. They're 3 points off as well.
Aye. So it's the teams are all up there on merit. At the end of the day, points tallies don't lie because it's Talbot's team's played 14 games.
14, some 15.
Well, 14, 15 games. We're nearly halfway through the season. Not I mean, we're a wee bit disappointed where we are in the league. But if you look points wise, we're not a million miles away from even at top 5. We're only like 4 points, 3 or 4 points. A win or 2 just brings us back up there.
You look at it, you are the bottom half of the table. So the teams below you, every team below you, the best goal difference below you is minus 23. You are plus 11. Shows you score a lot of goals.
That's cool.
The big game for me in the Conference B this week was the Inverclyde Derby. Well done to my old team, winning 3-0. Well done to the Port. Apparently, it should have been 6 or 7. I know Doyley's been really struggling for defenders late at Greenock, and it's obviously going to take time for him to implement his kind of way of thinking and way of playing. But that's been a couple of tough results. He's had not a great start so far, but he's still early days for him.
He'll be disappointed. Listen, you don't want to lose any game, but especially not that game, that Derby game. He'll be disappointed. Brilliant for the Port. Did you see the interview with the boy Jack?
No, I've not seen it.
It was actually quite good, mate. I quite liked it. He was a decent character. When we played them a few weeks ago, I was talking to him at half time and that. His interview was quite good, so it was. But no, listen, they get the bragging rights, and well done to them. Great result, and I did see that they said it should have been 6 or 7. So they've no half rubbed Greenock's noses in it. But listen, that means a lot. That means a lot to them down there, both sides. So listen, you win the game, you can dish out a wee bit.
See, to be fair though, I remember that's the way it always is down there. I remember the year Greenock won the league, they were playing at Park Lee, and we got relegated for the same league, and they won away from home and came down to Park Lee to celebrate, to rub it in our faces. So they don't miss each other in there, so it's always
listen, that's all good,
a
man.
bit of fun.
Banter's always, I always love a bit of banter. Do you know what I mean?
Aye. Canvas Lang 8-0 against Pollock. Again, just keep going. Let's keep plugging away. St Cadoc's 2-1 against Thornleywood, which is a good result because Thornleywood are a decent side.
Thornleywood have been playing well, mate. So that's a good result for St Cadoc's. It's a couple of tough games for St Cadoc's, and they've come out with 6 points because they didn't have an easy game against us, and then obviously with Nizzy and Dolzy and that, they're taking an informed team down there. So it's 6 good points for Southie, and I think that you would acknowledge. I think that they've had a good test the last 2 games, so the league's maybe the league's better than what a lot of people think it is. You know what I mean?
It's quite interesting to be fair at the top. And to finish up on this league, Dorai losing 5-1 to Renfrew. Jimmy Quigley got the Renfrew job despite all the rumours that we had heard. But that was a great first win for Jimmy. I know Dorai haven't had the greatest of seasons, but that's exactly what he needed. 5 goals and go and get a win in his first official game as manager.
I think as the boys will be familiar with him, innit? He's been part of the previous manager. He's been part of Collins' backroom staff and all that. So at the end of the day, he's done his bit. What did I say? He's done his apprenticeship basically. He's been the assistant, so he deserves the opportunity. And as you say, what a great start for him. So well done to Jimmy and the Renfrew boys.
Yep. Moving on to Conference C, Ardrossan 2, the Drum 3, Perthshire 1, Neilson 2, Kilsyth 3, Lanark 0, Larkhall 3, East Kilbride 2, Wishaw 1, Vale Clyde 4, Yoker 0, Petershill 8. The Rock and the Ants was postponed, which I think the Rock and the Ants being postponed was a brilliant result for us because I think the Rock would have won, even though our Coupon, Lawrence had a draw in our Coupon. So that game being off, won is 170 quid this week on a Coupon.
Was it Lawrence that won it?
Lawrence won it.
Brilliant, Lawrence. What a guy. Don't get me wrong, I don't think we can say who would have done what, but it's good, man, because the money goes to charity. But some hanging results in there. The one that sticks out for me is Vale Clyde beating Wishaw 4-1. We've got to know Spud a bit the last week or so, and we've been whelming that, and he's a great guy. They looked as if they'd been hitting form again, so it's a tremendous result for Vale Clyde. He'll be disappointed. I don't think he was there, in fact, because he was on holiday. But
right,
he'll still be disappointed. But brilliant for the boys to win a bit in the Coupon.
Nah, it was good. It was nice because we've only had the one win. That was funnily enough, the only other winner we had is the sponsor of this episode, Stuart Young. That's the only other winner we've had. So it was nice to get a bit of money for charity, like you say. We had Spud, Hope and Chrissy Cameron on the podcast last week, so that episode will be out next week, the 20th, I think it will be. So we were talking to them about these games on Tuesday night. I think we had them in. So Spud will be really disappointed after that. But again, well done to Vale Clyde. The Drum and Neilson both getting wins when the Rock didn't have their game on. So Neilson have kept themselves right on the heels of the Rock. Then the Drum just keeping themselves away. Ardrossan's always a hard place to go. I think it's always a kind of tough test. Even though they're not having as good a season as some would maybe think, getting down there is always difficult. So that was a good one for the Drum down there.
The Drum went down and they've done the job. They've scored 3 goals. Sounds like a good game. And Neilson, I've always said it, the Shire's never an easy place to go to. And Billy's doing a good job down there, an excellent job. So for Neilson to go down and win the game, it's excellent for them. So no, it's, as you say, they've put a wee bit of pressure back towards the Candy, but I'm sure the Candy are showing now that they can keep up with it. Peasy as well.
Yeah, just about mention that 8-0 against Yoker, who have been doing well recently.
And then obviously they've beat East Kilbride on the Wednesday night and all, and they've beat Neilson in the Saturday before, so they're putting a right good run together. Peasy, they're 5 in the bounce of one. And I'll be honest with you, we kind of dismissed them. Not dismissed them because
we did a bit, didn't we?
We've not mentioned them. We've been mentioning a lot about the Candy and Neilson and the Drum, but fair play to Lockie and the boys doing it. Peasy, they've put a run together and they're pulling themselves right back in the mix. And listen, they're giving themselves a chance because they're winning their games.
See, to be fair, see if saying the Rock, Neilson and Petershill all win their game in hand on the Drum, if the 3 of them win, the Drum will get 39. If they 3 win, the Rock would have 35, Nielsen 34, and Petershill 33. It's still tight, you know what I mean? 6 points when you've got half a season to go isn't much for doing the fourth.
They've all still to play each other quite a few times as well. A couple of times. See, the big ones will be when they all play each other as well. So no, listen, there's a lot of football to be played, but Peasy are just flying under the radar. A wee bit kind of like when we were talking about Pollock, they're just flying under the wee radar, but they're getting wins together and they're bringing themselves back into the mix.
Right, final one for me. Final two. Kilsyth, good win against Lanark. Lanark having a poor season, but Kilsyth starting to build up some points. Larkhall beating East Kilbride 3-2. I had a wee hang on. I don't know what I think I showed you on TikTok with Alan Shields, the coach at Larkhall, because he's a TikTok sensation. And
what's this? What is this? He's doing TikTok now or something?
Mate, he's got like nearly 40,000 followers on TikTok.
Mate, he's too old for that nonsense, man.
Yeah, I know he's an old guy, you know what I mean? He's just what he is. He was an old guy when I played with him about fucking 30 years ago.
I can't say it, mate. I'm 35 and still running about with snapbacks on and not. I think I'm an Ocean Beach club and all that.
No, but well done to Shields and lads. But talking about hats, can you explain what your hat's all about today?
Hat today, mate, ended up when we were on the stag do, we were doing activities and that, because there was a few, my brother and that Disney drinks, so we were up doing whitewater rafting and all that. We were up at Forest, just a place outside Forest. So on the Saturday, we all decided to go to the Forest Mechanic Devonvale game, mate, and it was amazing, mate. Brilliant. I wanted to show a wee bit of support to football up north. We all went. There was 13 A's at the game. This is my Forest bonnet with a wee pin badge on it. Committee were amazing. The committee ended up coming out with us after it. Brilliant, mate. I was the wee old guy Dennis, man. He must be in his 70s or something. He was my partner on the pool. We put a couple of people to bed. We were out with the secretaries and all that. They were always, the boys all gave us gifts, and they sent her a half bottle of whiskey for the boys as well.
That's all right.
Oh, mate, they were absolutely class, mate. They all came out with us after it, man. We had a right good time with them, and I'm hoping that I can sort out a pre-season friendly up there for the Ashfield boys. A wee team builder.
I think we'll see if we can get the Erskine Arts lads together, and we'll come up with ease. Come up there and listen, we'll do an episode up there.
See the setup, mate. It's class, and the people up there, I can't speak higher enough. They were so nice, and they were dead. They were brilliant ways, man. But it was amazing, honestly. So, no, give them a shout in the show. We were singing "No Forest, No Party," mate. And we were all having a good time. So, good to show a bit of support up to the teams up north, and their hospitality is just as good as the west.
Good stuff, mate. Good stuff. Right, finishing up in Division 4, Glenvale 3, Campbelltown 2, Fanart 5, BSC 2, Harthill 2, Harthill 1, Hamley Road 2, Kilsyth 3, St Peters 2. Right now, days we're not talking about it.
Nah,
I'm not talking about it.
I know it's a disappointing, isn't it?
Nah,
I think it's just kind of ended that chance she's had.
Mate, that's the thing is, even though I'm a committee member of the club, I purely speak for myself on this. No chance of winning. Like, I mean, the boys are good enough to win it. Definitely good enough to win it. I've shown that, beating Fanart. See, the thing is, I wasn't at it. Like I said earlier, I was working. Apparently it's the same story as when we played them at New Western Park. They beat us 3-2. Better team for large chunks of the game, and just couldn't see the game through. That's so many times. I was at the Hamley Road game last week when they beat us 4-1, and we were really poor. We had a lot missing, but Hamley Road were the better side. Do you know what I mean? They deserved their win. But
now look at the league. I think Hamley Road on it.
Mate, they've won 5 of the last 6.
I know. I think that their recent form with Keith and the boys, they're giving themselves an outside chance. I think if they can go and beat Fanarts and Kilsyth, then they could bring themselves back into it because they're in a good run of form.
Aye, it's to be honest, they've given themselves a real chance if they can win those games. I still think Kilsyth and Fanart are too strong. They're the better 2 teams in the league. For me, my big issue with St Peters then is we've played 12, won 6, lost 6. We've lost 5 games out of 6 against the top 3. And apart from the Hamley Road game last week, everyone's been by a goal, and we probably should have got more out of at least 3 of them.
Aye.
If you can't do that in the big games, then you don't deserve to be winning titles, to be honest with you.
Aye.
No
it's
doubt.
still a good league because, as you say, there's Fanart 1 and Kilsyth. It's been a great result for Kilsyth, and Fanart's been good to get a result. So looking at it, man, they're just the same, aren't they? I think what is it, 3 points, but thing with Kilsyth have got a game in hand.
Aye.
So it's really, really tight. And then I think you're going to see Hamley Row maybe just creeping up behind them. I don't know if they've gave themselves a wee bit too much with their start. It's maybe just left them a bit too much today. But I think that the one thing is, I think what Hamley Row might do is they could be big deciders of where that league goes, because if they go and can beat if they can go and beat Kilsyth and Fanart, then it will be interesting to see who comes out on top. But listen, it's good, it's exciting. Nobody's running away with it. It's competitive, mate. Our teams are all getting a lot more competitive. So, no, it's a good division.
As Fanart beating BSC 5-2, keeps them 3 clear, like you said. We mentioned Glenvale 2-0 down against Campbelltown and managed to bring it back and win 3-2 late on. So that was a good result for them. Campbelltown will be disappointed, but good result for them. So that's pretty much us this week, to be honest. But we've got a wee episode that we'll be recording on Thursday, which should be a good Gene. Hopefully that'll be out in 3 weeks' time. I think we'll keep Stum on that. I know that'll be a good Gene. People will enjoy that. The episode we've got next week, Conference C.
It's Hollywood, mate. We're hit hot. That's a Hollywood episode.
Mate, I've actually got something I've not even told you yet. I've got something to tell you once we're finished, a bit of possibility as well.
Yeah. Mate, I meant to say to you as well, PG, see, because I've not really spoke to you, I want to give a shout to the Candy boys as well. I had Andy Cameron on the phone, and they had the 100th anniversary dinner at Parkhead, Selleck Park, with speakers and that. Andy phoned me last Thursday and invited me and you down to it as their guests, but unfortunately I was away. Sorry to tell you the news.
Cheers for letting me know.
Sorry to tell you, mate. I just thought it would be too late notice. He phoned me like a day or two before. I said, I'm going on a stag, my brother's stag do. And
PG, by the way, 2 days ago you were invited.
Sorry, PG. So see if you wanted to go to that, I apologise. You could have went, mate.
Well, I was working, so I couldn't have went. But I tell you what, that'd have been a cracker, man. It looked like I seen some pictures of the boys. Looked like a great night.
So no, a big shout out to them celebrating that good night. And by all accounts, it was a successful one, and we thank Andy and the club for inviting us. It's just unfortunate that PG couldn't make it, mate.
He didn't know. Right, everybody. Cheers for watching. Apologies again that we didn't get this out last week. Just myself and Dak with shift work.
I was in my sick bed.
That's it. The man wasn't well. But before we finished, Dak, actually, we both went to not together, but we ended up bumping into each other. We went to the Hydro last week to see Open Goal. What a night that was, man. I tell you what, that was a who's who of junior football in the crowd, wasn't it?
Oh, mate.
Everybody was there.
I think there was hundreds of players getting tapped up all about the camp.
Mate, what I did, I'm not going to lie. I won't name
I know what you're going to say.
I saw one right in front of my very eyes, cheeky as can be, but I won't say who. I will not say who.
I know. I was a wee bit. I took no well after it, mate. So I was out of commission for a week near enough. So, but I'm back in the mend. I'm back. Listen, it was a great night.
It was.
And you never know. You never know, troops.
Maybe some people have said to PG and Dak about things. We don't know. We'll see how it goes in the future.
Aye.
Right. Everybody, cheers for watching. Have a good week.
Take care, troops.
See you later.
All the best, troops. No forest, no party.